What's up and welcome back to the Metalhead Car Show. Throughout the years, we've seen a million test mules out on the road. And what these test mules are is they're a vehicle that's supporting a new engine that might come to production, or it's a brand new car being out road tested to see if it'll actually work. And sometimes you see these mule cars get to production, and sometimes they sort of fade off into obscurity. And today we're going to look at those ones. So today we're looking at 5 cars that got into test mule stages and then faded off into obscurity. Let's get right into it. Starting off with going back in time to 2004, where an Italian brand called Tomaso closed the doors and shut down production. In 2009, Tomaso said they were coming back and they'd build a brand new car. This brand new car being seen in March 2011, and it was this. Now, this car is never really given a name, but seeing as though Tomaso's history only really has 2 relevant mid-engine supercars, it's most likely the Pantera. Now, little is known about this Pantera. The assumptions are it's either A, using a what would have been brand new Coyote Ford V8, a LS of some sort, or a Cadillac spec LSA supercharged engine which was making 556 horsepower. But unfortunately, what was likely to be the return of the Pantera was dropped, and Tomaso came out and made this. Very disappointing. We've also never seen this Pantera since that one video, and it's likely in a barn somewhere that we'll find in 40 years. Next up, and something a bit closer to modern history, the Acura Integra Coupe. When Acura started talking about the Integra coming back, we were seeing these 2-door mule cars start going around. This brought so much excitement to the Acura coming out because it would be coming out as a 2-door coupe, and that's the Integra fans love. Yes, the Integra started as a 4-door, but people know it and love it as the 2-door. So people saw this, again, people lost it. People thought it was the best thing ever, especially since Honda was just dropping the 2-door Civics. This was going to be a very cool alternative to the only 4-door or 4-door hatchback Honda. Unfortunately, this never was. We saw, I think, 2 different versions of the Integra Coupe, and we only saw it around the same time, and then it went away forever, and we got the 4-door hatchback Integra. Now, looking at the mule car, it kind of has a similar shape to older RSX, but it wasn't quite right. I don't think it was that. So my original theory towards why it may have not happened was maybe it was an RSX with some new facelift things here and there to confuse people, maybe testing a new engine or something. But frankly, that seems a little bit far-fetched. Why it didn't come out? Well, it likely didn't come out because Honda was just dropping the 2-door Civic. So it didn't really make sense to drop the Civic Coupe as it wasn't selling well enough for Honda and then bring out the Acura as a coupe only. So that's likely why it didn't come out. But if it wasn't that, then who knows? It teased us all. Jumping back in time to the early 2000s. In the early 2000s, there was an American company called Vector, and Vector was not doing well. Around this time, a company called Megatech owned Vector, and they were trying to make Vector into a really easily sellable company with multiple different models. But unfortunately, that didn't work out. They put the company up for sale, and the original owner, Gerald Wagner, purchased Vector back. And despite Vector was very quiet about it, the first thing they did was start production on a brand new car. The really early test mules of this were on a Vector M12 platform to make what we know as the Vector WX8. The WX8 was first shown off in 2007 using Toyota Supra headlights and this outrageous body, which is likely a modified W8, but that's not 100% confirmed, and using what was said to be a 10-liter twin supercharged V8 making upwards of 2,000 horsepower. The WX8 was shown off at one show in late 2007 to show that Vector is back, but we actually haven't seen it be public since then. There's been some photos here and there of it getting facelifts and it getting a bit more thought through rear end with an engine that actually fit in the car, but there's nothing solid. After Vector sold off their factory in California, Gerald Wagner actually kept the car in his possession, and it was kind of living on his driveway for a long time. I'm going to try to find a photo of it. Hopefully I did, and if I did, here it is. And as you can see, it's looking a little rough. And since Gerald Wagner unfortunately passed away in early 2021, I think it's safe to say we're likely never going to see the Vectra WX8 ever come to production. That's all down to whether if his sons choose to keep on the Vectra legacy and bring the brand back. But if not, this is it, and that one video we saw of the car moving will likely be the only one we'll ever see. Next up, a car that isn't actually a mule car. In 2009, Nissan said they were working on getting a new car in production, something that would be a bit smaller, a bit more cost-effective, something that people could actually get into, and something that would appeal to a younger audience. Great idea. So the car they made was the Nissan Juke. Why am I telling you this? Because the car they're actually planning on making was the Nissan S16 Silvia. Yeah, we almost got that. In 2009, some photos came out of what the S16 Silvia was going to be, and truly it looks a lot like a RX-8 in some regards. But it's said to have either a 1.6 or 1.8 turbo 4-cylinder, it was going to be a rear-wheel drive, and it was going to be a new Silvia. But unfortunately, Nissan decided that the Juke would be more profitable, and the Juke is what people were going to want more than the Silvia, so we didn't get it. Which frankly, of every car on this list, I think that one's just a little bit more disappointing than the rest of them. And before we get to the last car on this, I have to say just a little confession. So when I did this video, I referenced the V10 all-wheel drive Honda NSX. I've known about this car for a long time. I've always heard of it as the NSX, and turns out I've been wrong for years. The car is actually called the Honda HSV10, and it was going to be a road legal version of the HSV10 race car. It got the speculation that it was going to be an NSX because that was Honda's supercar, but it was actually this. My mistakes out of the way, we're moving on, but it turns out Honda was actually planning on making a supercar for a long time. They weren't completely settled on the NSX. That's why we've had so many different kind of variations throughout the years. Seeing this come out would have actually been really cool, because it would have meant we've got a Honda-made Lexus LFA competition car, but from Honda. And being both V10 powered and all-wheel drive, it probably would have been a massive threat towards the LFA and the GTR. But alas, that's not how it went. We got a couple spy shots of this thing at the Nürburgring, and that was pretty much it. That's 4 and a bit mule cars that we saw once and then never came out to production. I want to know, what's your favorite, and did I miss any that you love? Let me know in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed what you've seen. I post on Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday, and I'll see you later.